Welcome back, my friends. My name is Frank. In this video, I want to talk about the last episode of The Ghost and Molly McGee. It's called The End, which in all probability means this is the last episode of the series finale. After all, it's called The End. Now, before we start the video, I would really appreciate it if you would just subscribe to my channel here. Give this video a like and comment on the video as well, because every little bit helps. I really appreciate it. And of course, if you haven't seen this video yet, I'm going to talk about some spoilers, so this is your spoiler warning. Now, let's get on with it. As I said a few minutes ago, this episode is called The End, which in all likelihood means this is the last episode of the series. To get right to the whole point of the episode, Scratch is going through people to munch on funnel cakes until he lands in one person that jars his memory about who he used to be. Now, before I go any further, the person he jumped into was this guy right here. And through the entire 2 seasons of The Ghost and Molly McGee, there have been people online thinking that this guy is a wraith. Now, at first I was thinking, wait a minute, they're breaking the rules of the whole show. Because the last episode of season 1, Molly had to go through a ghost portal to become a wraith. And in the second to last episode of season 2, all the ghost friends had to go through a ghost portal to become ghost and go into the ghost world. This has been planned since the very beginning, because this screenshot shows you exactly what a wraith is. It's when a human gives up the ghost. Then they become what is known throughout the spirit history as a wraith. A wraith may also occur when they go through portals. So apparently, a person can give up the ghost and become a wraith and not even know it, which is exactly what happened with Scratch. You see, Scratch had this childhood friend in Brighton, but Scratch, whose real name happens to be Todd Mortensen, he always stayed home, went to his mundane, boring job, and did mundane, boring stuff, and never went on adventures. But his friend was always going on adventures, only he wasn't with her. So Molly convinces him that he needs to go back into the living world. He needs to have adventures and live his life. So what does he do? He goes back into his body. Now, here's where I have a small problem. This time, when he went back into his body, his ghost connected back into his body. Every other time a wraith connects back into the body, they instantly remember who they are. And when Scratch went into Todd in line for the funnel cakes, why didn't he turn back then? Why didn't he become human again? It doesn't make any sense. You just went into that body. Why does this version toward the end work, but the other version before it only jogs a memory? It doesn't make any sense. It's the exact, he went into the body. It doesn't make any sense. So other than that minor flaw, I really thought this was a heartwarming episode. So even though this episode is called The End, technically Disney did not cancel the show yet. Now, I have heard that all the other animators and voice actors are on other projects. So technically this is the end, but it's not canceled yet. It's very similar to the Dan Poppenmeyer show called Miles Murphy's Law. It's not canceled, but they haven't made new episodes. If this is the end of The Ghost and Molly McGee, it's a sweet, proper ending. If there is more, technically the show is called The Ghost and Molly McGee, not Scratch and Molly McGee. So they could technically bring another ghost in this series and continue it, because it's just The Ghost and Molly McGee, not Scratch and Molly McGee. They'd have to redo the whole opening, and obviously Scratch is that ghost. They just never named him in the title. But in all likelihood, this is probably the last episode of this show, and I'm really kind of disappointed because this was a very good show on Disney. I enjoyed talking about this for the past couple of years. I loved the theme song. Anyway, I digress. So, have you seen the very last episode of The Ghost and Molly McGee called The End? Did it make you emotional? Do you think it was a very good ending to the whole series? Comment below the video and let me know what you think. Because if you're like me and you really like this show, then I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about. That's all for now. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.